Hello everyone, we're on chapter 9 and we're on the last paragraph, which is paragraph 48, so let's get going. The human individual is the source of all morality and the center of earthly life. State and society exist only because they have arisen as a necessary consequence of the life of individuals. That state and society should in turn react upon individual life is no more difficult to comprehend than the budding, which is the result of the presence of horns, reacts in turn upon the further development of the horns of the bull, which would become stunted through prolonged disuse. Similarly, the individual would become stunted if he had led an isolated existence outside human society. Indeed, this is just why the social order arises, so that it may in turn react favorably upon the individual. And 48 is summarized as follows. The human individual is the source of all morality and the center of earthly life. State and society exist as a necessary consequence of the life of individuals. Again, the main point in this paragraph is just saying that it's humans that are the source of morality. Humans create morality through their actions, and state and society only exist because they are a necessary consequence of the life of individuals. I mean, realistically, are we going to be happy if we as individuals live a life that is isolated from the rest of people? I mean, it really is not realistic. I mean, there are people who, they retreat and they go into their own world of meditation or whatever, but, that's their own business, whatever. But, majority of people, I mean, as I've mentioned earlier, humans are social creatures. So there's got to be some way that, we organize ourselves because, again, there is the intuition, this desire to be organized, because having things organized and whatnot, I mean, makes people feel better. So the whole fact that we have a government and that we have society is really just a necessary consequence of the life of individuals. And at the end he mentions this is why the social order arises, so that it may in turn react favorably upon the individual. Obviously, there are cases where governments do not react favorably upon the individual and actually are very repressive, but that's a whole other issue. That's not acceptable for governments to stunt the individual. They really are supposed to help individuals and help our society, but that statement doesn't deny that sometimes the social order is not healthy, and that is any social order that arises that stunts the individual, that is unhealthy, and that's a separate issue, so we're not really going to go too much into it. But my point is that I think it's important to realize that many people hate the government. In our, we have a lot of democratic nations, and a lot of people like to complain about the government, which is fine. Whatever you do, whatever makes you happy, if that's how you want to spend your life. But they feel controlled, especially in our North American culture. Some people just complain and feel controlled, and I feel this might be true to some degree. It might be justified to some degree, but I feel as well that governments were created so that we can be free spirits, and I do see that it is sort of necessary to have a government as a result of all the people that we have in an area, and it's just a good way to keep things organized. Again, just because governments are run by humans and humans are not perfect, so obviously that's why we have certain problems, but to just recognize it for what it is. I mean, governments there's an ideal we have of governments, and clearly they're not, living up to these ideals, but that doesn't mean that the concept itself of a government is not useful, because again, as I feel, and as Steiner seems to point out as well, it's just a government and a state is really just a necessary consequence of the life of individuals. So that's basically all I'm going to talk about for this paragraph. Again, you have to really distinguish in your thinking that because government and the state are consequences of the life of individuals, it doesn't mean that they are good at what they're doing. It's just sort of recognizing it for what it is. The fact that they have to be healthy organizations, that's a different issue. So I just want our thinking to be clear upon that. So I'm just going to do a quick review of Chapter 9. Chapter 9 is really, really long, but he does, it's obviously Steiner's style to talk about things from different angles and just describe it a little bit differently. And his main points basically is that freedom is the highest level of morality that we can achieve, and that we're always transforming ourselves. And so the concept of morality for Steiner is ongoing. It's not, once you're done, that's it. You're always working on yourself, and you're always transforming who you are. And at the same time, he's recognizing that we are not 100% free. It's something that we're working towards. So there's no point in getting upset that, we are free in some degrees and we are not free in some degrees, but we have to work on ourselves and transform those things that are not free so that we do feel we are living lives as free spirits. Because as Steiner has mentioned, it's really up to us. State and society can only take us so far. Mother Nature can only do so much. The rest is up to us to take us to that next level of the free spirit. His philosophy of morality is one based on inner freedom and following our own intuitions, and recognizing that everyone else is doing that as well. We're all striving to find our intuitions. Some are better at it than others, and some aren't really following their intuitions, and some are, but recognizing that some level everyone is sort of seeking freedom and striving for intuitions, obviously to the best ability that they can, and just recognizing that. And the last point is just that knowledge is the path of getting concepts and ideas from percepts, but morality is the opposite, and it's the path of creating percepts from your own ideas and intuitions. So morality is a very creative path as well. So that's basically all there is to do about Chapter 9. So hopefully that was all clear to you. And if you have any questions or comments, just send me a message. Have a good day. Bye.